Okay guys, in the last video we left off with this little beat. Let's put on the drums. So in this video we will make another sound with a little different curve and envelope than our original synth sound, and we start off from the same synth sound. We just duplicate the sound. Okay, so this one, right click and duplicate. Let's disable or mute the previous one, and then we will work on this one. Give it a slightly different curve so we can alternate between this sound and the other sound, and have a little bit of variation going on in the bass line. So basically what I would do is take the attack time and push it to 4 or 5 maybe. Let's see what 4 gives us. That's pretty much the sound I was after. So it sounds the same as the previous sound, but with a longer attack, and that is just a small difference, but it will make a huge difference when you hear it as a variation in the bass line. So let's just keep the first note and delete all the others. And then the previous sound, let's enable that again. And we will delete the first notes, because now the other sound takes up those notes. And let's hear that. Okay, that's what I wanted. It still sounds a little bit off, but we can fix that later. What we will do next is spice up our drums a little. First of all, the snare, really important in drum and bass. Let's start off with pulling a spectrum on there. No, that's not the one. Yeah, spectrum it is. Okay, and open it up in the big screen. So now we can see in what range our snare hits, in what frequency. You can see it hits at around 250 Hertz. which is usually not what drum and bass artists go for. They usually go for hitting at 200 Hertz. Maybe with 220 Hertz you can get away, but not 250. So what we will do, we will take our snare, and here you got the transpose, and with the transpose you can take it down an octave. Let's see what -1 gives us. Now it hits at around 230 Hertz, so I would personally do it down an octave again. Now we are at around 210 Hertz, which is pretty good. Okay, next. To give the snare a little extra punch, we are going to add a compressor with a spectrum behind it. And the compressor, let's say around 3 or 4 to 1 ratio. Let's go with 3.82. Attack needs to be at least 20 milliseconds. I would go for around 23. Then I like to put my my compressor in this view so I can see what it does. Let's pull the threshold to -12 dB. That always seems to work best for me. Let's leave the makeup on. Release 50 milliseconds is fine. Let's first hear it without the compressor and with the compressor. And then as a final touch, I will add Le Petit Excite, which is an exciter plugin with just a low knob and a high knob, which is perfect for what we need. So you can find basically any free exciter plugin with a low and a high knob, and it does exactly the same thing. So I will put the high at around 2.30 and the low, let's boost the low a bit. Also to around 2. Okay, let's hear it without. And with. Okay, so we beefed up our snare a little. That's a good thing. Later we will buff up our snare even more, but it's a little bit too soon for that, I think. So Later we will get into layering snare samples to get a really hard-hitting snare, which is exactly like what you had in mind. You can basically build any snare you want. Now for the kick, I would just take the compressor of the snare and put it on the kick to get that extra little punch, because it's a compressor with around 20 milliseconds attack. It will basically cut off the tail of the snare, so the snare sounds shorter and snappier because the tail is cut off. So let's hear it without and with. You probably don't hear a lot of difference with the quality of this video, but I can hear it myself. Very subtle, but you can hear it. Okay, next I want to get a little bit a better melody or a better bass line going. Okay, the rhythm is starting to feel pretty jump-uppy. Let's see what else we can fix. Okay, let's add some filters on this sound. A low pass filter. And an LFO to make it wobble a bit. Sync it to 1 to 8. A sine wave, or a wave that I use a lot, is the Chinese roof. Maybe alterate it a little with a sine wave. something like so, and then we will put that on the filter. And then we are going to route filter 1 into filter 2 and filter 2 into filter 1. We will mix filter 2 and we will put it in serial. Okay, that's better. For the second filter, let's try band reject. Okay, let's put the amp a little bit down so it doesn't wobble so obviously. With the amp down, the original sound will come through as a longer sustain. There, I like this sound. And I think I will end this video here, and I will think about what we can do in the next video. So see ya in the next tutorial. Bye bye.